Rock on, everybody.
What's happening, peeps?
What is
Boy.
happening?
Have we missed the hell out of you, glorious sons of bitches and bastards out there?
Indeed.
How is it, everybody? Good to see you again. So, welcome back. We are the Battle Bros podcast, now in season trace. No leche, but just a trace.
That's right.
So, yeah, we're in our third season now. Welcome back. We've missed you guys. We had a nice little break there. We had a lot of stuff going on, both of us, but it's like that song says, "I'm back in the saddle again." I know.
What's happening, Withers?
It's awful. I'm gonna stop singing. It's just terrible. But yay, Uncle Chuck, what's going on? So yeah, what's been going on with you there, bud?
I've been out fucking standing.
Oh, I thought you were saying something else. You're like, I've been out, out fucking what?
I've been out fucking standing. That's what.
Oh, outstanding. No, man. No, I've been good. Yeah. Okay. Roger, Uncle Chuck. No singing. Got it.
Roger Dodger.
Things have been good. Just working, staying busy. Kind of getting adjusted to some changes in life and stuff, and maybe we'll talk about that some other time. But hey, it's Muhammad Jihad. Freaking yeah. Just keeping a nose to the grindstone, as they say. Just trying to do the best we can. So, but yeah, I am glad and pleased as punch to be back doing this. So
damn right.
It's been a minute, guys. It's been like a little over a month and stuff since we had our last episode. So
it's always excellent to be back and doing this.
Most
giving us something
excellent.
Something that gives us joy and a purpose. And also, speaking of joy,
it's a purpose, not a poipus. It's not a freaking animal.
So, speaking of purpose and joy, if you guys like what you see and like what you hear, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button, as well as hit the notification bell here on YouTube, so that way we can actually get you guys notifications when we actually are on.
And stop the presses. And as of about 10 minutes ago, we have a fucking Twitter account. How about that shit?
Yeah,
we have a damn Twitter. We're kind of moving up in the rankings here, man.
And you can find us over on the Twitter space.
On the Twitter space
at Battle Bros PC.
Yeah, check out all that good social media crap. We've got the email, we've got the Gmail account, we've got the Facebook, we've got the Instagram, we have Instagram, right?
We got Instagram, Facebook,
Twitter. We got the Insta Twit. Yeah. Insta Twit.
That's right, Insta Twit.
I don't know what that is. So
I don't know either.
But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna start plugging the social media stuff because we think people might be getting tired of us hearing us talk, and then they cut off at the end, before the end, when we plug the stuff normally. So
yeah.
So we're gonna have some subtle changes here and there.
Just a little bit.
But yeah, so it's been a little bit, guys. We've had some stuff going on there. So
and don't forget to share.
Tell your friends where you've got the candy.
Share the message.
Anyway, yes, share the message, pass it forward, pay it forward, pass it forward, all that good stuff. So the last time we were here, about a month ago, we had a conversation on recovery. Episode 44 was the last episode of season 2. And another special shout out to our friend Dr. Gino Kalura.
Dr. G.
Dr. G Dizzle. He came on and talked to us from the perspective of neuroanthropology, of the neuroscientist perspective, which was a great conversation. So thank you again, Dr. G. We appreciate it. We're going to hopefully be calling on you in the future. I speak worth. So to pull what Alan says all the time, I speak things and worth.
I speak stuff.
Yeah. But it was a great conversation. I would highly recommend, if you haven't watched it, go back and check it out. All of our episodes are available on YouTube. You can check all 44 of our episodes that we've had out so far. Check those out and go back and revisit some good topics that we've had for discussion, all that good stuff. Hold bud.
Yep.
I don't sneeze like Mario. You asshole.
You
Shut
do.
up. No, I don't. Anyway, so we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna kind of took some inspiration from like pastors and preachers and churches and whatnot. So a lot of times you go in and they might be like you have a sermon as part of a series or whatnot. So we're gonna kind of do the same thing. We're gonna have a two-part discussion. This is episode 45. This is our first of two talks on the subject of driving on. We'll get to that in a minute. We're going to be talking and focusing primarily on perseverance for this one, and then we'll have a secondary topic for the next episode as the second part of our discussion. So, what do you say we kick the tires and light the fires there, man?
Let's like this turd.
Like this turd. Okay, yeah. So,
Yeah.
I can't speak for my cohort here because I don't know what the fuck you just said. So, what is driving on? For those folks that may not be familiar with that lexicon or vernacular, if you've been in the military, I'm sure you've heard it more than one goddamn time in your life, in your time in the service. Driving on is just pretty much don't fucking quit.
Damn right.
There you go. Oh hey Sarge, my wife got a Jody. Drive on. I got a broken ankle and I'm on a road march. Drive on.
Mm-hmm.
Take your pick.
Take some ibuprofen. Throw
But
some dirt on it.
Sergeant, I didn't know that she was
Drink some
not
water.
a virgin. Private Potato. Drive on. And if you don't know, Private Potato is like my fucking hero, man. Exactly. If you don't know who we're talking about, great YouTube channel. Richard High has a YouTube channel called Angry Cops, and he does a lot of sarcastic parodies about service in the military. And he's got a character on that he's had on several videos called Private Potato. That is just like it's spot on. It's just such the perfect colloquialism of just your idiot private, brand new freaking E fuzzy,
Yeah.
E nothing, E don't know nothing. So yeah. It's amazing. If you see it, you'll just understand. Like so every time I see that video, it's just like into the sky. Anyway,
he was on the unsubscribed podcast too, like recently with Eli and Batty, and oh my god, it was
Eli and who?
they call him Batty Streams on there. It's he's a ginger with a really huge beard. It's fucking hilarious, like
I'm gonna have to
watching
check that out.
and listening to those guys go back and forth. Absolutely hilarious.
That's so good. It's gotta be good. So basically, drive on is just talking about when shit happens, you just push through it, gut check yourself, fucking nut up, shut up, and just keep going, kind of thing. So this is the first of two-part discussion that we're going to have on driving on, and we're going to talk today about perseverance and why perseverance is important. So,
yeah,
perseverance is defined as the persistence in doing something despite difficulty or delay in achieving success. Okay, so no matter what happens, you're focused, you're driven to just see it through to the end, and that's very, very, very crucial and very important. And that applies not only in your military life but in your civilian life as well. Good example. In the military, there are times when when you show up at a school, like if you go to airborne school, like day zero, you're doing a PT test just to make sure that you meet the standard. Okay. And there's guys that flunk out of that. Like when you go and apply for a sheriff's office or something, they make you do like a physical abilities test. And there's guys that flunk out of that. Okay. Well, maybe come more prepared. You can either let that define you. Excuse me. You can let that define you and just be like, oh, I didn't make it. Well, you didn't even get to the starting line. Like that was something else. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of guys, and Matt Best said it best. That was awful. I didn't mean for that to sound so ridiculous, but Matt Best said it very, very eloquently when he said, hey man, rear rangers recycle. You can keep going back. If you keep getting hurt, man, they'll keep letting you go back. It's when you quit that they're just like, hey, he's gone. Kick him out, Like he went through, I think it's either him or I think it was Nick Bear. Like one of those guys went through, like he was there for pretty much twice the time it takes a normal Ranger School. It's like 62 or 63 days. Like he was there for like 120 days or some shit. It's like, okay, just do what you got to do, man. Make it happen. So why is that important? I mean, you get injured, other things happen. The unexpected happens. Okay. You can either let it define you and kick your dick in the dirt, or you can just be like, no,
Yeah.
not me, not today.
It
One of the
doesn't matter
things
how many times you try. It doesn't matter how many times you try again.
exactly. So, I mean, it's super, super, super important that you just make sure that you keep going no matter what. I mean, I don't really know how else to say that in regards to the military. I mean, what do you got there? I don't know.
No, I mean, I think what I just said, I mean, kind of just speaks volumes about it, man. Like, I mean, like if you look up the story of David Goggins, like I think I've encouraged you to like look it up a couple times. And we've spoken about him on here on the podcast. He's a very not your typical military veteran. Specifically, he was actually once a Navy SEAL at one point, but he's also like a super marathon runner, and he does all these like insane challenges to essentially do something
He's
what he calls is callousing his mind. He puts himself through what would be to many other people considered like absolute
hell,
hell,
hell.
exactly, just to improve himself, but to prove to himself as well that he can make it through the hell that he's putting himself through. It's almost like a challenge of like look yourself in the mirror and challenge yourself to be better than you from yesterday every single day is kind of his thing. Um in my personal opinion, I feel like it's inspirational. Like I mean, there's a lot of colorful language that comes out of his mouth. David Goggins is not David Goggins is definitely
Not
not
safe for the
one.
workplace environment.
Oh, for sure. Um,
But hey, neither are we.
no, of course not. Absolutely not. But and that's the thing is like sometimes it takes sometimes it takes bluntness. Sometimes it takes a hell of a lot of uh, gumption, if you will, to kind of
Intestinal fortitude.
to keep driving on. You know what I mean? And if you use guys and gals that have pushed themselves to the limits and continued on even when their bodies were breaking as like an example, it's one of those things that, like, for example, I know for a fact when like I go to the gym, right, or when I work out, I go in with the mindset of I am going to destroy myself in this workout, and I'm not going to stop until like I come home hurting. It's
Yeah.
just how it is. If I don't feel like I'm giving myself a little bit of pain with every rep that I do,
Yeah.
it's just yeah, I don't see a point.
And that's kind of, and not to sing our own praises or like pat ourselves on the back, but that's exactly what we did when we did the 10K last year. When we
Damn
did
right.
that, when we did the 10K, we had packs on. It was like I
Yeah.
wanted to kind of suck and hurt a little bit, just to kind of remind me like, okay, it's you don't get where you're at without having to have a little bit of effort, and you have to kind of give something for it. It's never
Damn right.
just handed away. Like, okay,
No, you got
since
to work for it, man. And
okay,
it's
so
something that go
I,
ahead.
I I forget where I
I
saw.
have words for this stuff.
I do too. That's why I wrote them down. That's why I put them in our notes here. Um, I forget where I saw it, but it just kind of stuck with me, and I wrote it down. It said anything worth having or earning is worth sweating for,
Yeah.
and that's why, like, not to get political, but like it really bugs me that you have so many problems with this generation of people going in the military, they're just not in shape. They're not able to do all this crap because they were handing out these fucking participation trophies as opposed to just going out there and just saying, okay, you know what, we got our asses kicked. Like there's a great example of it. You know,
I have my stress card. Meh.
listen, Pi, fuck your face. Anyway,
Yeah.
so like I like the story. Here's a great story that everybody can relate to. So, um, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the hockey team here in Tampa, obviously, they were back to back Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah.
And the third time that they went to the Stanley Cup, they didn't make it. They came in, they were runners up. But I mean, hey, going to the Stanley Cup like 3 times in a row and winning two of them, that's not bad. But what's interesting about that, one a lot of people may not be aware of, is before the year before they made that first Stanley Cup win, uh, they went 0-4 in the first round of the playoffs. Like they got swept. Like they got their asses handed to them, and they were just everybody was just like, "What the fuck was that?" Like they worked so hard and they busted their ass to get to the playoffs, and then they literally went 0-4. And I
Yeah.
believe it was the Columbus team from Columbus, Ohio. I forget what the mascot of that team is, but like, I think it was John.
I mean,
Shut up, dude. I'm trying to fucking say something here. You jag off. Anyway, but yeah, it was John Tortorella, I think, was the guy who coached the team. He used to be a coach here in Tampa for a while.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, they got their. I mean, they went home like just like a beat damn dog, dude. It was terrible. But then after that, they came back next year. They freaking um, Blue Jackets. Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it. Columbus
Yeah.
Blue Jackets. And yeah, so then they came back the next year and just went all the way and they did it at the same time. That's perseverance. I mean, to go, the odds were against them to do a three-peat for the Stanley Cup and stuff, but to do it 2 years in a row, like, dude, it was awesome to be a part of that. I mean, it was just freaking fantastic. But yeah, that's perseverance to get your freaking dick knocked in the dirt and then come back and be like, take it all the way. Next thing you know, you're like mushroom stamping dudes like whoop whoop done. Absolutely done. So that's
Yeah.
perseverance, man. So yeah, I mean, now let's look at it from the aspect of like your personal life. Okay,
Yeah.
dude, anything can happen. Unexpected, like life itself, just being unexpected. Like anything can happen. I mean, Alamo. Not to put your business out there, but he had something happen recently. I've had something in my family happen recently that we're both just having to deal with. That we just kind of have to persevere and drive on. Well, it's probably not the best thing to say in his situation, but we're gonna leave that alone. We're gonna leave
Yeah.
that. I'm not saying anything bad of anybody. It was just
Let's just say we
the
have.
timing. No,
Yeah.
don't say nothing. It's okay. Just the
I
timing of
won't
that
embarrass the
comment was.
individual.
No, they don't. No, you don't need to do that. What in the
No.
hell? Is that a bug? Yes, it is a bug. Sorry, it's more like gnat or something flying around. There's a spider just kind of.
Squirrel.
There it is.
Squirrel.
Shut up! It's not a squirrel. It's a fly.
Squirrel.
Anyway, so yeah, you can just anytime something happens. I mean, I had to. I was like 3 payments away from paying off a car, and then it got wrecked. I was in an accident. It got wrecked, and I started from scratch. It's like,
Ouch.
yeah, like I was so looking forward to not having to make that car payment too. I was like, oh, I can save some money. Ugh. And life
Yeah.
just went. Life just went. Bloop.
It's like, nope. You're
Life-
gonna have to make
life-
more payments.
Could you get your cojones out of my face? That'd be great. Yeah, you can start from scratch. You get 3 months off for the first, like, a little bit, and then start paying again. So, but yeah, I mean, you can let that kind of stuff beat you down, or you can, just you can, decide to overcome and outlast, and all that kind of crap. So, there's a good article that Alamo's going to read here. It's from Army.mil. Talking about a soldier who has had some adversity in her life in the military and in her career. So he's gonna read that article and then we're gonna talk about it afterwards. So Alamo, take it away, my dude.
Yes, sir. Okay, so this is an article. This young lady has been in the military for some time.
I think it
It's
said about 17 years,
yeah. Um,
which is a
and
good career so far.
yeah, damn right. You know, she's trying to do her 20, man. Anyway, so here's the story, right? In Joint Base San Antonio, Fort Sam Houston. Uh, as she sat in her office reminiscing about her life journey to becoming a U.S. Army soldier, Master Sergeant Catherine Torres, U.S. Army South led sexual assault response coordinator, lead
Lead.
sexual,
There you
excuse
go.
me, lead sexual assault response coordinator.
He speaks worth.
I speak words. Shed a tear thinking about the recent passing of her father. Quote, my dad was the most inspirational person for me, even though we didn't always see eye to eye, Torres said eventually, or said emotionally. He came to California from Puerto Rico as a young man, barely able to speak English to pursue his dreams. Her father's adventuristic nature rubbed off on Torres, who is the middle child of three sisters. Hey, three girls.
Oh,
Mhm.
jeez, I got one, and that's enough. I love you,
Yeah.
sweetie, but
Yeah,
continue.
ladies is a handful. Even though,
3.
yeah. I grew up in a household full of women, so
Yeah, but you're a
it's
guy. Okay,
yeah,
3 of them in a row. Like I'm the middle of 3 boys. Like I just look at my mother and I'm like, I love you. I'm
yeah,
sorry. I'm so sorry. Please don't hate me anymore.
yeah,
At times we were shit kids. We were assholes. So
yeah. Boys usually are. From from from
keep going.
Fajardo, Puerto Rico, Torres was interested in sports and being outdoors, while her sisters were more concerned with making friends and going out. Quote, I just wanted to be outside, climbing trees, playing sports, and getting dirty, she said with a childish grin. Between her father's wanderlust, and her mother's stability, Torres had great yet opposite role models, even though her parents divorced at a young age. Ooh, yeah. Uh, Divorce coming from someone who's a child of divorce, it sucks ace. So, um,
Question, man. I'm just
nah, go ahead.
I don't think we ever talked about that. How old were you when your parents divorced?
I was two.
Oh, okay. So that's kind of what you grew up knowing as that was your normal.
I pretty much grew up knowing that as my normal, but other things happened that made it very obvious to me that that's what happened, which we can talk about later on in another episode.
Another time,
Yeah,
folks.
another time.
Please continue.
Her mother raised her and her sisters as a single parent and worked nights at Roosevelt Roads Naval Station while her daughters slept as her slept and as her mother slept during the day. Torres stepped in the caretaker role for her younger sister. Um, that's another thing that it's just again, child of divorce, you know,
Everybody kind of steps up. Yeah.
everybody kind of steps up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly, it was just me and my sister Nilka at the time. My other sister had been out of the house. She decided to leave once my niece passed. And I mean, tales of the generation. We were latchkey kids, man.
Where
So
does Cynthia come into all this?
Cynthia lived in upstate with basically my second mom. Um, and she would just come and pick us up randomly. Honestly,
Okay.
you know, it wasn't every weekend. It was usually when she had time because she did work. You know what I mean?
Right.
She was the eldest of us.
So
So
what's the I know you're the youngest. So
mhm.
what's the age oldest to youngest? Who is that?
There's literally 5 years between me and Nilka. 5 years between Nilka and Marina. Um, I don't remember the space of time between Cynthia and Marina, but I
So
know.
it's Cynthia, Marina, Nilka, you.
Yep. And
Okay.
my eldest brother, my eldest, the eldest is my brother Hector. Which
Oh, I keep seeing him pop up on Facebook. I'm like,
Yeah.
He's got the same last name. Like he's got to be related to somebody. I didn't know
Yeah.
he was your brother. My bad.
Yeah.
I'm
Hector.
I'm a
Yeah.
shit friend, dude. Like this is terrible.
Yeah, he's autistic, so um
Oh, okay.
he's I'm not gonna say he's disabled. I don't put labels on it like that. I mean,
No,
some of the most intelligent people and all that good stuff have been on the spectrum. So, you know, um, you know, him and I have always been really, really tight, just
yeah,
because of how close and I guess you could say mindset we've always kind of been.
sure.
Um,
What's the age group? What's the age difference between you and Hector?
oh geez, probably almost 30 years.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow, that's such an interesting concept to me.
yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm in the middle.
Dad's almost 80. So yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's cool, man.
It's funny. He doesn't look in he doesn't really look a day over 70. So
I mean, we're talking 10 years. I mean, no disrespect. No
no, I
disrespect.
got you.
It's like 70, 80. I mean,
Yeah.
potato bowling shoes. No, but like it's just it's interesting to me because like, I'm the middle of three. There's 8 years between me and my older brother. There's 2.5 years, 2 years and change between me and my younger brother. So it's just like that's my normal. So 30 years though between brothers is like, wow,
Almost.
that's a generation, dude. It's like, wow, that's
I
crazy.
it might just be a little less. I know, like, because I think he's was it 50? I'm always having a brain fart on this one. He's almost like 50. I think he's like almost 56 or something like that. I don't remember.
Your birthday's coming up. So you're gonna be how old this year?
37.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna be 37.
Wow, I didn't realize you were that. I mean, we're 3 years apart in school. It's like I didn't realize you were that close in age. That's another story. I realize that. No. Dude, go
let's
back to
just
reading
say
that. Listen,
let's just say I went no in school for a little bit.
El Loco Gringo is going to shut up now. So go back to reading the story with the rolling of the R's that you're doing so
The
well.
rolling of the R's.
The
The,
Torres and the Roosevelt Roads.
so her mother raised her and her sisters as single parent. Oh yeah, I covered that part. Quote: My older sister went to live with our grandmother, so my younger sister sees me a lot like her second mother.
I think
To-
that's the terminology you just used, right?
I
Second
basically,
mother.
yeah.
Yeah.
Torres said proudly. Quote: I did a lot of the housework, yard work, and by age 7, I could cook a full course meal. Her parents put a huge focus on education in and out of the home. Her mother pushed her daughters to speak proper English at home, and her father pushed them to achieve university education. Torres graduated high school at 17 years old and got a scholarship for a university in Puerto Rico. But her father encouraged her to attend Mount St. Mary's University in California, where he worked. Quote: Making the choice to leave behind everything and everyone that I knew and loved was very difficult, and I was very overwhelmed by college culture. It definitely was not what I expected. So I was there for about a semester before going back to Puerto Rico. When she returned to Fajardo, she found herself alone. Her sisters had moved. Her mother had joined the Navy Reserves and relocated to Florida. Hey, and she had no other blood relatives in her hometown. She began practicing cosmetology at a local barbershop and working as a manager of a grocery store. But after a few years, she was unsatisfied with where her journey had taken her. Quote: Being back home, I wasn't hanging around a good crowd, she said. People I knew and grew up with were getting locked up for drugs or crime. And by the way, the crime rate in Puerto Rico is really fucking terrible. But again, another story. Or even getting killed. It was one of those moments where I looked around and said, I have so much more to offer. So what am I doing here? I think we've pretty much all been there. Torres said she always wanted to be an agent in the Federal Bureau of Investigation or the DEA or serve in the military. The fastest way for her to escape the bad situation she was in was to join the Army. She enlisted as an ammunition specialist in 2005 or September of 2005 and shipped off to basic combat training or BCT, excuse me, as soon as she could. Quote, after I graduated from BCT and advanced into individual training, my first duty station was Fort Carson, Colorado, and I got there in February.
Oh,
Woohoo!
that's gotta suck.
Torres said, Torres said
Ah.
anxiously, I had never experienced winter, so I left Puerto Rico in a tank top, shorts, and flip flops. Right before we landed, the pilot said it was 9 degrees in Colorado Springs. Could you imagine just the amount of glass cutting? Let me not go there. Yeah.
Boy, you really stepped on your crank there, buddy. Jesus. No, I mean, listen, I went up to see a good friend of
Oh,
mine.
Jesus.
I went up to see a good friend of mine. Actually, it's probably like about 5 years ago now. My
Yeah.
daughter was much younger. Yeah, Withers. Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went to see a friend of mine, a surprise visit up to see a friend of mine up in Chicago, and I
Yeah.
had not really been around winter weather like that since I was in Afghanistan. We were up in the mountains about 7,700 feet above sea level.
Yeah, man. That's when you get some good
A
snow.
lot of glass.
Yeah.
But besides before, I mean, I went out, took a trip out to Utah earlier this year for work trip and
Utah.
stuff. But going up to Chicago, yeah, that was like some culture shock because like that lake effect, that is no joke, man.
And it's
like
a salt lake too.
oh man, that stuff is
Weird,
terrible.
for some whatever weird reason, like anything like lakes and shit like that, like big lake, like you have really terrible weather if it's a salt lake. I don't know why. But
When everybody
a
they started
lot of
saying lake
meteorologists
effect, I'm
say
like,
that.
what the hell are they talking about? And then I was like, oh, fuck.
Then you get it.
So yeah, keep reading.
Yitter. Torres said she was blessed with patient leadership that gave her time to acclimate to the new climate. And although it took her some time to get used to the very different weather from Puerto Rico, Torres quickly adapted to the military lifestyle. Which, I mean, if you allow your training to freaking really work with you, you get it. It becomes like second nature anyway.
Master Sergeant's name is Catherine Torres,
That's right.
spelled with a K.
Yep. And Torres deployed to Iraq October of 2006, and then again in June 2010. It's funny because it says October of 2006. I think we were cycling up to actually head out to Iraq by that point.
You hadn't left
'Cause
yet because I
We had
remember
just arrived in Germany. Yeah.
you and I took a picture in my front yard.
Yep. I remember.
I had this girl in my post deployment beard, and I was just like, eh. And then afterwards, I shaved it all off, and I shaved it in the bathroom. And we went. I put my uniform on. We took a picture before you left over and shit. So
Yep.
yeah. So what? Yeah.
Both in Operation Iraqi Freedom. Go figure. That's where I deployed. Those deployments taught her a lot about people who she surrounded herself with. Quote, what I learned the most was that people you need behind you in battle and in life are always going to be there, whether it's family or battle buddies, she said. You have to learn how to lean on them. Torres said said her first deployment was very different from her second due to the arrival of her son. Quote, my first deployment, I was on a forward operating base in southeast Baghdad, and my parents kept telling me, please don't go over there and be a hero, because they knew that this is who I am as a person, she said. The second, I was on a personal security detachment, so I was on the road a lot. but my son wasn't even 2 years old. So being away from him was really hard. You know, it's funny thinking about stuff like that because as a parent, I can't, especially now, like I can't imagine having gone on a deployment and being away from my family. Even though when I was single, I was on a deployment and I like for me it was nothing because at the time, I didn't have
Dude, we
kids, I didn't
were
have
we
a
were
wife.
young and stupid, and we were just like go out there and grab the world by the nuts and just like, whatever.
I just realized he typed hooked on phonics. Nice.
Nice. No, but it's funny you say that. I was having a conversation, quick sidebar story, and we'll get back to this, but like, I was talking to, my daughter she's at this really cool age where she's starting to ask a lot of questions, but like
Yeah.
really thoughtful questions. Like, she put some effort in thinking about stuff, and we were talking about some stuff, and I was thinking about something. I was like, it was like, so she asked me about something. I didn't realize it was like 16 years ago. I'm like, Jesus, like that was a lifetime ago. Like that was, holy crap, that was a long time ago. Oh, she
Yeah.
asked about when I came home from Afghanistan. It was 2006, and I was just like, that's 16 years ago. Like,
It's crazy to think about, isn't it?
Jesus, like that's a long time.
I got
So,
back to Iraq 14 years ago. Yeah. So that was interesting.
but yeah, I mean, and it's just, especially now, like you talk about life now versus back then. It's like, the older I get, the more understanding I have of like older veterans and like what they had to persevere through. Like, these guys, like guys in World War II are just, tough as nuts, man. Like those guys are just some studs. They
Yeah.
went out there and they're like, we took a vacation from working in the mills and all this stuff in the coal mine.
Nuts the size of cannonballs.
We went and killed some Nazis, and all that kind of shit. But I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, it was just such a long time ago. Like that was my youth, was being in the army and
Yeah.
in the military and all that stuff. Anyway, sidebar over. Continue.
Yep. Yep. Her son's father, her son's father was also deployed in Iraq at the time and contracted a severe case of meningitis. Yeesh. Due to security concerns in the region, she was not able to receive updates on his status. Quote, it was a lot to deal with on top of the stress of completing the mission, Torres expressed. I did a lot of meditating during that deployment because I was the rear vehicle commander, and when we went out the gates, my team needed me to be focused. I learned how I could handle a lot more stress than I could ever have imagined, and still perform under the pressure of combat. Uh, After her deployments, Torres went through the U.S. Army Drill Sergeant Academy in Fort Jackson, relaxing Jackson, uh, South Carolina, to help transform civilian volunteers to become combat engineers. During her time at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, she noticed something wasn't right with her daughter. Quote, I was supposed to get stationed in Hawaii, but my daughter, who was about 1 year old, began regressing in her development, she said. I thought she might be autistic, and there was an opening at Army South on Joint Base San Antonio, Fort Sam Houston, which is in the main post for medical across all branches. So I took the position, arrived here, and ultimately she was diagnosed with autism. Oh. Um, Fortunately, she was able to get all the medical treatment her daughter needed, but Torres needed the support of her family once again, as her mission required her to travel often. Her mother assisted with childcare as she traveled all over Central and South America and the Caribbean. Torres was able to receive a compassionate assignment into her current position to allow for continued medical treatment for her daughter, which is actually pretty freaking sweet because a lot of the times you don't see like the army or the military in general kind of,
They look at you and just say, "Hey, sucks
yeah.
to suck.
Yeah,
Drive on."
you don't see them doing a lot to like bend over backwards for anybody.
No, but listen, I mean, there's good stories and there's bad stories. It's like, talking to
Yeah.
recruiters, there's that negative stereotype, but there's recruiters out there that aren't total, jerks,
Douches.
shitheads, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't hear about those. Like, all the stories about, you hear about all this crap in the news about, all cops are bastards and blah blah blah. Blah. Anyway, it's not been so bad lately.
Yeah.
But, that's not necessarily the case. I mean, I know I'm jumping into the middle of a political thing here, so I'm going to tiptoe lightly and backpedal out of this conversation. But it's just it's perception.
Yeah.
You don't always get to see everything. But again, this person was able to be very, very fortunate that, um, she had people good leadership. That's important, man. Like
Yeah.
good leadership can make a lot of things happen, and I say that
Yeah.
because
It can make or
It's
break.
in the chat room right now, and he was my leader for a long time. So it's like,
Yeah.
gotcha, man.
Leadership can make or break any situation, man. It, I mean,
But
logistically, all types of different shit, man. It's a matter of what is your leadership doing and what is your leadership willing to do,
do
you
you
know,
have leadership
or
or
leadership.
leadership? Yeah,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, he said,
Push. Um, which so it goes on to say, through all of her assignments, deployments, and missions, Torres attributes her triumphs and successes to the support of her family, friends, and battle buddies, specifically her mother, Tammy, and her two sisters, Jennifer and Tamara, who stepped up to care for her children throughout the years and always pushed her to be the leader she was meant to be. Quote, I've always had an amazing support system back home from my family and friends in the military as well. Torres said with a smile. When you have when you have that, it makes all this pretty easy. I mean, 17 years in the army has gone by pretty quick, and the rest of my story is still being written. The now the reason we kind of like popped the reason we kind of read, added this article into the whole mix was because it kind of highlights, you know, the aspect of the support system, to help you persevere in kind of hard situations. And in hard situations, what is one main thing that we here at the Battle Bros podcast try to stress? We try to stress having that support group. We try to stress community. We try to stress making sure you have, a support system of individuals around you, whether it's us here at the Battle Bros podcast, building the community that we have that we're trying to build in order to support each other and keep each other from you know making a freaking shitty mistake. You know what I mean? Um, and and honestly, it's really what it kind of boils down to is what is who is in your support group? Who do you have that is working with you? Who is trying to assist you? Oh yeah, that's right.
well, I'm just pointing to you. You're trying to do something. I'm like, you just got
Yeah,
nope.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
doing that.
Come on. Okay, so no, but yeah, so who is in your support group? And
This is the kind of shit I put up with, folks. I'm just saying.
correct, but that's support group. But
That's family, dude. Like,
yeah,
no bullshit. That's family. So.
and and
That's my brother right there. That's
damn right.
my dark skinned brother. But that's
Damn
my brother.
right. And that's the whole point. We, as people, because we're social creatures, we need that support. We need that support system, and it helps us get through a lot. You know what I mean? It helps us get through the stress. It helps us get through everything. Like, if you think about the military in general, nobody is doing anything by themselves. Everybody is doing something with and for the other person next to them. It is what it is. And you know,
To drive that subject home, not to, I'm just good at quoting movies, but there's that great scene at the end of to kind of give you some context here. Like there's that great scene at the end of Black Hawk Down where the guy's talking to Hoot. They're like, "Hey Hoot, why'd you do it, man? You some kind of war junkie? War junkie?" I'm not gonna say a goddamn thing because they don't understand. It's about the man next to you. It really is.
makes
And
all the
that's
difference.
and you know what? And
All
that's
it
a
is.
great movie moment, but that's also the cold hard truth, man. It's like
Yeah.
you don't want to let the guy down next to you, and he's not going to let you down. So perseverance gets a lot easier when you have somebody that's also going to help you persevere. When you have that system in
Damn right.
place. So yeah, so that's our talk on perseverance. So stay tuned next week when we're going to talk about the second part of this discussion. We'll get to that in a little bit, but for those of you that are new to the show, if you're watching this for the first time, this show got started when we found out that a friend of ours unfortunately decided to take a temporary problem and solve it with a permanent solution. We had a good friend of ours named John who we worked with in the retail sector. John was, as I always say, he was a funny fucker. Like he was just one of those good-hearted dudes that would just give you the shirt off his back. And
Yep.
I don't know what kind of demons he went through, but he ended up taking his life, and that's a travesty
Unfortunate.
because it's very unfortunate. It's a travesty because he was a guy worth knowing. He was a guy whose story needed to be told. When 22 a day is the number of veterans that killed themselves by suicide, that's
And
rough.
unfortunately, it's a norm.
It's the norm, yes. But when you have one of those 22 is somebody it hits that much harder. So that's how our show got started. And we just kind of want to pass along the wisdom and the knowledge to be like, hey, you're not alone. Reach out to somebody. We're going to help you out no matter what it takes. So in doing so, sorry, I'm getting over like a freaking head cold or some shit. It's like sucks. Coughing up like I'm smoking Newports.
Yeah.
In doing so, we came up with the Battle Bros code. So just kind of something you can remember to kind of keep yourself in the fight, keep yourself, with your head on, and just remember what it's worth fighting for. So
Damn right.
easy to remember, BROS. First one's be tenacious. No matter what you do, go out and do it to the fullest. Don't half-ass it. Go out there and do it to the fullest energy level that you can. Go out there and just be the absolute best, the best parent, the best student, the best neighbor, the best coworker, the best boss, the best supervisor, the best leader, no matter what it takes. Whatever that means to you, be the best at whatever you're doing. Be tenacious. Don't half-ass it. Go in freaking screaming, guns blazing, all that kind of shit. Be tenacious. R, refuse to surrender. There's going to be times where you have a lot of things happen. There's been some changes in both of our lives recently, nothing too drastic, but it's just something that we've had to, adjust to. And by demonstrating perseverance, we are going to refuse to surrender. Things are going to get you a little bit off course and off kilter. Deal with it, adjust, and drive on. Oh, obliterate your obstacles. As I said, there's going to be those things that get you twisted, get you sideways. Sometimes you got to climb over a wall, you got to go under a wall, you got to go around it. Sometimes you got to breach it with some C4 and Bangalores, and sometimes you got to back into that damn thing with a striker. This guy over here on my left. Yeah, that guy. Whatever it takes, man. Breach that shit. Hit the OBJ. Go from there. Don't ever stop. Don't fucking quit.
Damn right.
S. Most importantly, when things get help, when things look dark and when things look grim, and you don't know who to turn to, take the time. Seek out help in a time of need. Okay. Everybody has a story that needs to be told, no matter how insignificant you think it might be, no matter how irrelevant it is. Bullshit. Fuck that. You need to be here. You need to tell your friends. Okay. If you don't have anybody to reach out to, call guys that you used to serve with, or guys or gals. I'm not trying to be prejudicial here. The Battle Bros podcast, battle buddies come in all shapes and sizes and forms and all that kind of crap. So reach out to those people that you served in the military. If you don't have family or friends or whatnot, if you don't have anybody you can call, there are resources out there. You have the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. There's now 2 ways to call. There's 2 ways to contact them. Excuse me. The toll-free number is 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. And I believe you press 1. They will have somebody there 24/7, 365. You also now, as of earlier this year, I believe it was around June or during the summer months, you can now dial or text 988. That's 988. They will have somebody get in touch with you, kind of help you through what you're going through. Can just kind of talk to you and just be like, "Hey, man, let's figure this shit out." So,
Damn right.
with all that being said, this is truly an epidemic. Okay, this is something that needs to stop. Like yesterday, like 10 years ago. There's too many of us that are getting lost because of not getting help and getting help to those who need it. So
Yeah.
that's why we say this show isn't about us. It's about the people that need to hear this stuff. You may not need to hear the message. Pass it forward to somebody. It'll find who it needs to go to. Fate has a way of just kind of making things happen like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but on that note, Almo's going to plug all the social media shit. We're going to get out of here for tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming back, folks. We appreciate you guys. And Alamo,
if you guys want to go ahead and contact us on the social medias, you can do that at facebook.com/battlebros.podcast. You can also do that on the Instagram at battlebros_podcast. You can also do that now on the Twitter at battlebrospc.
Night, Chuck. Thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out in the chat room with us while we're doing the show. Appreciate you, man.
Damn right. You can also contact us via Gmail at our current Battle Bros Gmail at battlebrospc@gmail.com, where we will monitor every single one of our social media areas, social media messages and things like that. We will monitor everything to make sure that we get back in contact with you guys, our community, and to basically keep an eye on you guys and keep the community going. It's a way to go. Also, I need to wet my whistle.
You need to wet the whistle.
I need to wet the whistle. If you also want to catch us on the audio platforms, you can catch us on Spotify. You can catch us on Anchor. You can catch us on, I believe, Amazon Music. You can also catch us on iHeartRadio now, which, hey, moving up in the world. Woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. And basically any audio platform that you guys choose. I know that the most popular ones are the ones I just mentioned. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, man,
Also,
make sure
yes, if you're the kind of person that's a visually minded person, you don't want to watch this stuff, check out our YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel. Just search Battle Bros Podcast. All of our episodes are on there. You can actually, we had a little bit of a glitch in our first season, episode 10, where we talked about 9/11.
Also find us on the Rumble.
And Rumble too. But episode 10 is only available on the YouTube because before we were able to streamline the process of recording and all this kind of crap, we had to do the dual recording where we had a video recording and the audio separately, and we had some audio that kind of crapped out on us. So episode 10, the first part of our 2-part discussion on 9/11, is only available on the YouTube. So if you are checking this out for the first time, just so you know, like you get on there, like there's no episode 10 on the thing.
Which, by the way, thank you, Anchor, for making it easier for us to not only get our
big
it's a very big help because now you can actually see our videos on Spotify as well. Kind of like you can do with the Joe Rogan podcast. You can see us and see our beautiful mugs on the Spotify as well. So you can find us.
And we're not even getting paid by Spotify. We're not getting paid by Anchor to say that stuff. We're like legit, like Anchor has been amazeballs.
Hell yeah, they have.
Anchor has been awesome. So
they're giving us a platform to speak our voices, man, and get the message out there that needs to be put out there.
And since we're doing shout outs, just since this kind of just threw this curveball here, shout out to we use the website that we use is StreamYard. StreamYard's awesome. If you're doing a podcast, if you want like an easy way to do stuff, check out StreamYard, check out Anchor. They're amazing.
Yes.
They're gonna make it look good. Like they make us look good. Like this
Yeah.
stuff is super easy. Because when we started this podcast, we were like, how the fuck are we gonna put on a podcast? And one of us looked at the other and said, dude, they put a monkey in space. Like we can oh yeah, you said it, like, dude, they put a monkey in space. We can figure this out. I'm like, fair enough. So, but yeah, Anchor's awesome. StreamYard's awesome. And then shout out to all you wonderful people out there listening to the show. You know, all 5 of you.
Yeah.
No, for real. It's amazing. Like some of the analytics on this, of like we've had people listen in Spain and Ireland and all this other stuff. It's like, how the hell are we getting all the way that far? It's like that's amazing. In the day and age we live in, it's like when everything is negative, it's like we're reaching people across the freaking globe. Like that is the coolest freaking thing I've ever been a part of. Like one of them. It's up there like top 5, but like still, that's just amazeballs, man. So. But yeah, this is a fun thing that we did to start off as a passion project, but I'm glad that we're back to it. We're gonna be back next week. But real quick, happy belated birthday to all you crayon munching bastards out there. Marine Corps birthday was on the 10th, so happy belated birthday to all you people out there.
Yep.
Semper Fi, all that good stuff. And then happy belated Veterans Day. We were hoping to get an episode in on last Friday when it was Veterans Day. We just couldn't do it. Timing, schedules didn't work out and stuff. But
that would have been a great time to start too.
Yeah, it would have been. You know, everything happens for a reason, dude. It's all good.
Yeah.
But again, thank you to everybody who's watching the show and listening to the show. Whether you watch it, whether you listen to it, all good. Big thing is just pass it forward, pay it forward and pass it along to the next person, because you never know who this message needs to get to and who it needs to hear it and all that good stuff. So, we look forward to seeing you guys again or having you back soon. Next week, we're going to be doing episode 40046. It's going to be Driving On Part 2. We're going to talk about resiliency. Yeah. That's going to be this. That's going to be the mirror episode, the companion piece to this one. We're going to talk about resiliency. And how that's just as important as perseverance to driving on. So until that time, we hope to see you soon. Thanks for stopping by. And just remember, be tenacious, refuse to surrender, obliterate your obstacles, and seek help from when time of need. Okay.
Speak words.
And speak words. Yeah. That's going to be our shirt. Yeah. Battle Bros Podcast. We speak words. That's a shirt idea right there, buddy.
Damn right.
But, thanks, everybody, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Battle Bros out.